We're looking at our topology again with switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, and switch 4. I'm going to make switch 1 the VTP server. I'm going to make switch 2 and switch 3 VTP transparent to see if they really do relay VTP advertisements. And I'm going to make switch 4 into a VTP client. So let's log into switch 1. Whoops, let's not remove these links by accident. And I'm going to say VTP mode, and if I execute the help feature by hitting question mark, I see 3 options: client, server, and transparent. I'm going to make switch 1 the server switch. And when I do that, it says device mode already VTP server. So by default, all Cisco switches are VTP server mode switches. Next, I'm going to create a VTP domain, and it's asking for a word. So I'm going to say VTP domain CCNA. Now, all switches in your network, if you're using VTP, must be in the same domain. If they're not going to talk VTP with each other. Next, I'm going to set a VTP password. VTP password, and let's just keep it at Cisco. So the device VLAN database password has been changed to Cisco. Now let's look at our work. Do show VTP status. Now, there are a few things that you want to pay attention to in this command. The most simple one is, of course, the operating mode is your VTP mode is server. The domain name has been changed to CCNA. Now, if I were to ask you what version of VTP you're running here, version 1 or version 2, you might be tempted to say that I'm running version 2, since it says VTP version 2. However, if you look down here, it says VTP v2 mode disabled. So you're actually running version 1. If I say VTP version 2, and then execute the do show VTP status command again, now you see VTP v2 mode is enabled. Now I actually am running version 2. Before I was running version 1. So don't get caught by that on the test. I'm going to disable VTP version 2 again. I'm going to go back to version 1. And if I execute the command show VTP status, you see that VTP v2 mode is now disabled. Now, what about this field? The configuration revision. The configuration revision is a count of how many changes that have been made to VLAN.dat file. So, once again, the configuration revision is a count of the changes you have made to the VLAN.dat file. Let's see. I will add, right now the configuration revision is 6, because since we started this class, we have made 6 changes to the VLAN.dat file. I'm going to add VLAN 123 to the switch and exit out of there. So that is one additional change we made. Do show VTP, well, let's see if the VLAN has been created first. Do show VLAN brief. And VLAN 123 has been created with the default name of VLAN 123. And let's look at our configuration revision. Do show VTP status. And it went to 7. So it incremented by 1 since I made 1 change to the VLAN.dat file. Let's take away that VLAN. No VLAN 123. Once again, remember that to negate a command in Cisco or to do the opposite of a command in Cisco, you simply add a no in front of the command. You prepend that command with a no. And I hit enter. Let's look at our do show VTP status command again. And once again, since I deleted the VLAN, that constitutes another change to VLAN.dat file, and the configuration revision has incremented to 8. The last change I made with VTP was setting a password, and I don't see a password being shown here. That is by design. To see the password, you actually have to execute the command do show VTP password. And you see that the VTP password is set to Cisco. Now I'm going to go to switch 2 and make it a VTP transparent switch. So VTP mode transparent. Then I say VTP domain. I believe it was CCNA. And you see the domain is already set to CCNA. Since switch 2 and switch 3 by default were already VTP servers, switch 1 sent out the domain name in VTP advertisements and switch 2 accepted it. I'm going to set the VTP password to Cisco. That you actually have to set manually. That does not propagate over for security purposes. And now I'm going to look at my do show VTP status command. And my domain name is CCNA. My operating mode is transparent. And my configuration revision is actually 0. A VTP transparent mode switch has its configuration revision set to 0 because the configuration revision, as I said, is a count of the modifications made by the server switch to the VLAN.dat file. However, a transparent switch does not participate in VTP. It only relays VTP information. Hence, the configuration revision, which is a count of the number of changes made to the VLAN.dat file on the server switch, is set to 0. Let's look at our password. Do show VTP password. And it is set to 0. Always check your work as you're doing it. Don't leave it for later because then you don't know what command you did that caused the error. I'm going to go to switch 3 and do the same. Make it a VTP transparent switch. So VTP mode transparent. I'm going to set the password to Cisco. And just to make sure, I'm going to set the domain to CCNA. Now I'm going to go to switch 4 and turn it into a client with the same password and domain name. So VTP domain CCNA, VTP password Cisco. I go ahead and type the domain name anyways because I don't trust it to automatically propagate over, and it's good practice. And VTP mode transparent. I'm going to check my work. Do show VTP status. Whoops, I was supposed to set this to client. So let's set it to client. Okay, so now, once again, check my work. See, it's a good thing since I caught my own mistake. So the operating mode has been set to VTP mode client. And the domain name is CCNA. Let's check the password, make sure it matches. VTP password, nope. Do show VTP password. And the VTP password has been set to Cisco. Now, at this time, switch 4 should only have VLAN 150. Do show VLAN brief. So as we see, we only have VLAN 150 and it is applied to port 24. I'm going to go check switch 1. Do show VLAN brief. And switch 1 also only has VLAN 150. The same should be true for switch 2 and switch 4. Now let me go ahead and create VLAN 777. 777. and I'm going to name it test. I'm going to exit out of this mode and make sure this VLAN was created. So do show VLAN brief. And yes, 777 is active with the name test. Now, switch 2 and switch 3 are transparent mode switches, so they should not have created VLAN 777 on themselves. So let's make sure they didn't. Do show VLAN brief. And nope, I do not see VLAN 777 on switch 2 since it is a transparent mode switch. It is a transparent switch. Let's go to 3 and do the same check. Do show VLAN brief. And nope, I don't see VLAN 777. I only see the VLAN 150. And this should be correct since switch 3 is a transparent switch. And let's go check switch 4. This one should have created VLAN 777 since it is a client switch. So let's check. Do show VLAN brief. And VLAN 777 has magically appeared on switch 4. Not magic. VTP carried VLAN 777 in VTP advertisements from switch 1 through switch 2 and switch 3 to switch 4. So switch 4 is a client switch. It listened to the VLAN or VTP advertisements from switch 1 and created VLAN 777. Now, what happens if I try to create VLAN, let's say 55 on switch 4? Let's try it. VLAN 55. And it says VTP VLAN configuration not allowed when device is in client mode. So the client cannot modify its VLAN.dat file. Last little tidbit. Well, let's see if I can create VLAN 555 on a transparent switch. Or VLAN 55 on a transparent switch. So switch 3 is a transparent mode switch. VLAN 55. And sure enough, it created it. Let's check. Do show VLAN brief. And VLAN 55 is here. So no VLAN 55. I want to get rid of it. And it should have gone away. But since a transparent mode switch does not participate in VTP, it is allowed to add and create and add and delete its own VLANs. It can modify the VLAN.dat file. Now, last little tidbit. On switch 1, we were checking our VTP status. Do show VTP status. I'm scrolling through my commands using the up and down arrow key. Now, what is the difference between VTP version 2 and version 1? The only difference is, and I believe it could be asked on the test, that version 2 supports token ring VLANs. So VTP version 2 supports token ring. So this VLAN 1003 used for token ring, the token ring default VLAN, version 1 does not support token ring. Version 2 does. I'm going to go ahead and save my work, and this concludes the VTP section of the class. The end.